Hey, Royal Family, just wanted to call, just to let you guys know and be encouraged. Right now, we're before the eve of the fast, and a lot of you might be wondering, well, why is it that we do fast, and what are the reasons why fasting is appropriate for the time of need that we are in? So, I just want to run through a few different scriptures with you all so that you can get caught up and then you can see why fasting is effective, why it was done in the Old Testament, at the same time, why it was done in the New Testament, and why Jesus did it to defeat the devil. So, very powerful. Here, starting off, is to let you guys know that again, when the Garden of Eden, when everything broke forth, God said, I would put intimacy between thy seed and your seed. What he was doing is declaring that to the devil that the seed of God would be at war with the seed of the devil. The thing is, most of the devil know, but a lot of us don't really recognize is the fact that we're in an actual war. So one of those things that actually shows it, first of all, is in Ephesians 6:10. I'm going to flip this around, hopefully. So the word says, finally, be strong in the Lord and be mighty. Put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against authorities, against the power of this dark world, against spiritual forces of evil in heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God. So right there, basically, God is telling us that the war that we have in life, anything we ever have to deal with in life, never has to deal with a flesh person. There's always a spirit or an authority or a ruler or a darkness or a spiritual force that actually lives and functions in this earth and even in the heavenly realms. So what he says to do is to put on the full armor of God. So this is for so that the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand the ground, and after you've done everything you know to stand firm, with the belt of truth around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up your shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. And pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keeping on prayer for the Lord's people. Pray also for me that when I speak, words may be given to me so that I will fearlessly make known the mystery gospel, for which I am the ambassador in chains. Pray that I may declare it fearlessly as I should. So right there, very important that the writer is actually telling us how we fight in this earth. He's we'll do a bigger study on this down the road, but I just want to give you some groundwork of why we do fasting and why prayer and fasting married together is very powerful and very effective. So now that we've read Ephesians, I'll take you now to a place where Daniel used prayer as a major force that actually affected the kingdom of Israel that will last forever. So we're going to read Daniel now. Okay, so it says in Daniel 9:10, it says, this is 10, chapter 10. It says, in the third year of Cyrus, the king of Persia, a revelation was given to Daniel, who was called Belteshazzar. It was a message that was true and concerned a great war. The understanding of this message came to him in a vision. And at that time, I, Daniel, mourned for 3 weeks. I ate no choice food, no meats, no wines, touched my lips, and I used no lotions at all until 3 weeks were over. On the 24th day of the first month, as I was standing on the bank of the river of Tigris, I looked up, and there before me was a man dressed in linen with a belt of fine gold from Uphaz around his waist. His body was like topaz. His face was like lightning. His eyes were flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleaming burnished bronze, and his voice like a sound of multitude. I, Daniel, was the only one who saw this vision. Those who were with me did not see it, but were in such terror and overwhelmed them that they fled and hid themselves. So I was left alone to gaze at this great vision. I had no strength left in my face, turned deathly pale, and I was helpless. Then I heard him speak, and as I listened to him, I fell into a deep sleep, my face to the ground. And a hand touched me and sent me trembling on my hands and knees. He said, Daniel,
You are highly esteemed. Consider carefully these words about that I'm about to speak to you. And when he said this to me, I stood up trembling. Then he continued, do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard. I have come in response to them. So the first day, God, back in the day, Daniel he used to pray and things would happen. This time, it was actually took them 24 days that he stood. He ate nothing. He drank nothing. He was on a fast. And he says, from the very first day that you started to gain understanding, he said, I was sent before you. With your words were heard. I have come in response to them. But the prince of Persia's kingdom resisted me for 21 days. Now, again, this is talking to you about those powers that actually resisted an angel for 21 days. He couldn't get through. He could not break through. We call the second heaven. Says, Prince of Persia, he says, but then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to me, helped me and disdained there with the king of Persia. Now I have come to explain to you what will happen to your people in the future, for the vision concerns a time yet to come. While he was saying this to me, I bowed my face toward the ground, and I was speechless. Then the one who looked like a man touched my lips, opened my mouth, and began to speak. And I was standing before. I have overcome with anguish, but in this vision, my Lord, and I feel very weak. How can I, your servant, talk to you, my Lord? My strength is gone, and I can hardly breathe.